I'm Brooke. Welcome to my workshop. I'm a general contractor and builder. I've always loved crafting and doing things myself since I was young, and it turned into a full-fledged career. Today, I'm gonna be teaching you how to make a headboard out of pool noodles. An upholstered headboard not only gives your bed support, but it adds a stylish, personal touch to your bedroom. So for this project, you'll need a piece of wood, some pool noodles and spray adhesive, your fabric of choice, and the result will be a custom modern headboard that's sure to upgrade any bedroom. So I'm starting with plywood. This is gonna be the base of the headboard, and I've already cut mine to a queen size, but you can do whatever size bed you're gonna fit. The main thing you should consider is the height of it. I'm gonna make mine really tall and grand because once I have my mattress there with pillows, I still wanna see some of the pool noodles. This is gonna give it an elegant, rich feeling, but if you make it a little bit shorter, it's gonna give it a more modern feeling. Just go with whatever size you want to make it fit your vibe. So I've got my fabric here. I went with velvet because it's super sturdy and easy to upholster with. Plus, it's really elegant looking. It's gonna make this bedroom pop. All right, to start, we're gonna staple the fabric to the back of the board so we can flip it over and start with our pool noodles. We wanna make sure it stays straight when we first start. It'll give us a better chance at keeping it straight as we go. You wanna also leave a little bit of an overhang because at the end, we're gonna fold all the material over the pool noodles to make a really clean, crisp line. All right, we're gonna attach this in a couple of places and then we'll flip it over. So now it's time to start cutting our pool noodles. I know it seems really unconventional to use a pool noodle, but it's a good substitute for foam because it's so much less expensive. So out of every pool noodle, you'll get 2, so you actually only need about 13 for a queen size bed. We're gonna simplify how to cut these so you can keep them even when you're cutting the pool noodles. We're gonna create a jig, and a jig's basically just a pattern. It's a way to keep everything uniform as we're making it. I cut my 2x4s to 4 feet because that's gonna be the height of the pool noodles on the headboard. I need this to be about a 1/2 inch taller, so what better than to use bottle caps that you have at the house? They're about a 1/2 inch tall, it's perfect. They're basically acting as little feet to help raise everything up. All right, once you've done that, you're gonna flip it over, and here's the base that the pool noodle will sit on. You're gonna flip up your 2 side pieces, and we're gonna tape this so it stays together while we cut this, and then you can pull it right back apart. Once your noodle is in here, you can chop off the excess and then cut it in half and start putting them on the board. You don't have to make a jig. You can measure and mark and cut them in half. This will just help expedite the process. I'm gonna tape this in place so it doesn't move while I'm cutting it. First thing, we're gonna cut the pool noodle to 4 feet, which is the height of the headboard. Now we're gonna cut it all in half. Make sure you keep this blade sitting on the 2x4 when you're doing this. It's gonna keep your pool noodle nice and level. Trust me, I've done this before. If you tip your blade, it won't be straight. All right, we're gonna spin this all the way around so I can do the other side. I'm gonna pull off our tape and save this for a little later, and a perfectly cut down the middle pool noodle. Do it a couple more times and we can get started. All right, we've got the last of our pool noodles cut. Now we're gonna measure and mark the rest of our board so we can start adhering these. Each pool noodle is 3 inches wide. So we'll start out by measuring and marking every 3 inches. We're gonna do this here at the bottom and at the top, and then we'll use a straight edge to make our lines. Let's see if I know my math. All right, now I've marked top and bottom. I'm going to take my straight edge, line it up to those marks, draw a line all the way down the board, give a good reach. That's how I'm gonna keep my pool noodle straight the whole way down. Now starts the fun part. Get your spray adhesive and the noodles, and it's time to start putting these babies on. To start, we're gonna take our spray adhesive and we're gonna go ahead and get our first line sprayed. It's really important to make sure this outside edge gets sprayed really well. If you spray over that line, that's fine. It's gonna be covered up with more spray adhesive later, but you have to get that line coated so that the pool noodle will stay straight while you're working. Next up, take your pool noodle and you're gonna spray the sides. You don't have to worry about the middle because it's not actually gonna touch the board. Let it dry out. It needs to be dry to touch. And this very first noodle is the most important because it's gonna set the tone for the whole board, AKA it needs to be straight. So pay attention to this one. I'm gonna start at this outer edge. Make sure that your pool noodle stays in between the edge of the board and this line and just start pressing it on. All right, pool noodle stuck on, so we're gonna take the material and pull it over. We're gonna pull it tight and kind of crease this in place. Grab your staple gun, and we're gonna push this in so that the line lines up with this straight line. Now we've got our first line stapled in, and we're gonna take this material and fold it back over, and it's gonna kind of be nestled in between each noodle. So now we're gonna spray the headboard, spray the next noodle, attach it, and keep going over and over and over. All right, we take our material, fold it back over, and this is gonna start forming our flutes. If you feel like your pool noodle is expanding way past your line, maybe you haven't let it dry enough before you put it on. So let it get dry to touch before you put it on, push it in. It should hold a lot better. You wanna make sure you keep those lines straight. Nobody's gonna think this is pool noodles. You'll have a list of people wanting a headboard just like this. Final noodle, and then we'll tuck everything in, and then it's done. Now we're gonna flip the headboard over and staple the excess fabric back. So I've trimmed the excess, and now I'm just gonna staple it down. All right, so we've got all this excess fabric here. So in order for it to be nice and neat and have a smooth line at the top of the headboard, we're gonna cut the excess fabric that's between each pool noodle. So basically every 3 inches, we're gonna make a cut in this fold. I like for my folds to all be the exact same so it looks really flat on the top, but some people like pleats in it. You can kind of fold it however you want. I just like for mine to be all flat. It's a little bit more modern that way. All right, if your piece of material is flat, fold both sides in like you're folding a towel and pull it taut over itself, and let's staple this first edge here. And then you just keep repeating the same thing over and over as you work your way down. Fold, fold, pull. Finished. And there you have it, an upholstered headboard that's sure to upgrade any bedroom. Can you believe this is pool noodles? This headboard is amazing. It's the statement piece in this room. It looks awesome. I love how mine turned out, and I hope you love yours too.